There's fear, and then there's real horror, the kind that stays with you long after the game is over. The kind that haunts your thoughts, makes you hesitate before turning off the lights, and leaves you questioning if you're truly alone. If you're a true horror fan, you know the feeling. The pounding heart, the shaky hands, the desperate search for an escape, and if you haven't experienced these games, you haven't truly tasted fear. These are the 10 most terrifying horror games ever made. Play them, if you dare. 10. Fatal Frame. Most horror games give you weapons. Fatal Frame ? It gives you a camera and forces you to face your worst nightmares through the lens. This game is pure terror. You're trapped in a cursed mansion, armed with only the camera obscura, a device that lets you see and fight the ghosts lurking in the shadows. But here's the catch. The closer they get, the stronger your attacks. That means the only way to survive is to let them come near. The Japanese folklore influence, the eerie sound design, the way ghosts suddenly appear right behind you. It's a masterclass in psychological horror. If you want a horror game that makes your blood run cold, Fatal Frame is an essential experience. 9. Visage. You ever been inside a house that just feels wrong? That's Visage. This isn't just a haunted house. It's a labyrinth of nightmares, where reality twists and warps around you. There are no jump scares here, just pure, suffocating dread. You'll hear whispers behind you, lights flicker, doors open on their own, and then something moves in the darkness. The game's supernatural entities don't just scare you, they torment you, making you question what's real and what's in your head. With no combat, you're left feeling helpless, forced to endure whatever nightmare the game throws at you. If you think PT was scary, you haven't seen Visage yet. 8. Soma. What if horror wasn't just about monsters, but about the very nature of existence? That's what makes Soma so deeply unsettling. You wake up in an underwater facility, alone, or so you think. Something inhuman lurks in the shadows, but the real horror isn't the creatures. It's the questions the game forces you to ask. What does it mean to be alive? Are you even you anymore? As you explore, you'll uncover a terrifying secret about your own existence, one that will stick with you long after the credits roll. Soma doesn't just scare you, it breaks you. 7. Until Dawn. Imagine this. You and your friends are trapped on a snowy mountain, isolated, hunted. You think you're safe, but you're not alone. Until Dawn is a cinematic horror experience where every choice matters. It's like being inside a slasher film where every decision you make could mean life or death. One wrong move, 1 second too late, and your favorite character is gone forever. The story unfolds like a horror movie, but you're the director. Will you make the right choices? Will you trust the right people, or will your mistakes lead to a bloodbath? With intense jump scares, a terrifying enemy lurking in the dark, and the constant paranoia of making the wrong move, Until Dawn is a must-play for horror fans who love tension and choice-driven stories. 6. Darkwood horror isn't just about what you see. It's about what lurks in the dark. And in Darkwood, the dark is everywhere. This top-down survival horror game does something no other horror game does. It terrifies you without cheap tricks. There are no jump scares, just an overwhelming sense of dread. By day, you scavenge for supplies, reinforce your hideout, and try to survive. But at night, they come. You can hear them scratching at the walls, moving outside your door, and then the lights go out. You can't fight them. You can only pray you survive until morning. With its oppressive atmosphere, disturbing creatures, and psychological horror elements, Darkwood is one of the most uniquely terrifying horror games ever made. 5. Madison. Some horror games make you scream. Others make you too scared to move. Madison is the second kind. You wake up in a pitch-black house with a demonic entity watching your every move. The only way forward? A cursed instant camera, one that reveals things you don't want to see. Flashes of shadowy figures in the background, doors that weren't open before, walls covered in cryptic messages that weren't there a second ago. And the worst part? You're never safe. The entity is always there, lurking, waiting. You don't know when it will strike, but it will. With its terrifying puzzles, incredible use of sound design, and an overwhelming sense of dread, Madison is a game that will leave you checking over your shoulder, even after you turn it off. 4. Silent Hill 2 Remake. Haunting, slow tone. There are horror games. And then there's Silent Hill 2. This isn't just a game. It's a descent into psychological horror, where every disturbing creature, every fog-covered street, and every whisper in the dark represents something deeper, something personal. You play as James Sunderland, drawn to the ghost town of Silent Hill by a letter from his dead wife. But what you find isn't just a town, it's a manifestation of guilt, regret, and pure terror. And then there's him, Pyramid Head, a towering executioner of nightmares, always lurking, always waiting. With the remake's photorealistic visuals, improved sound design, and modern gameplay, Silent Hill 2 is set to bring one of the greatest horror stories of all time back into the spotlight. If you've never experienced this masterpiece before, this is your chance. 3. Alien Isolation. There's nothing more terrifying than knowing you're being hunted. That's Alien Isolation. You're not a soldier. You're not armed to the teeth. You're just Amanda Ripley, trapped on a doomed space station, and a perfect killing machine is stalking you. The xenomorph is unlike any enemy in horror gaming. It learns from you, adapts to your tactics, and never stops hunting. Hide in a locker, it might check the next one. Run too much, it hears you. Try to fight, it's already too late. Every moment is pure, unrelenting dread. The sound of its footsteps, the hiss of its breath, the beeping of your motion tracker getting closer. There's no game that captures the feeling of true fear and helplessness like Alien Isolation. If you want to experience what it's like to be prey, this is it. 2. Outlast. Imagine being trapped in a psychiatric hospital, but not just any hospital. This one is filled with horrors beyond your worst nightmares. In Outlast, you're an investigative journalist with nothing but a camera. No weapons, no way to fight back. Your only options? Run, hide, pray. The patients in Mount Massive Asylum are not normal. They're twisted, mutilated, and hungry for blood. And the moment one of them sees you, the chase begins. Outlast isn't just terrifying, it's relentless. There's nowhere safe, no time to breathe. The darkness is overwhelming, the enemies are vicious, and every second feels like it could be your last. This is survival horror at its most brutal. Can you survive? Or will you be just another victim? 1. Resident Evil Village. The ultimate horror experience. The perfect mix of fear, action, and unforgettable terror. This is Resident Evil Village. From the moment you step into the snow-covered nightmare, you know something is very, very wrong. A mysterious village, creatures lurking in the shadows, and then Lady Dimitrescu. 9 feet of elegance, horror, and bloodlust. But she's just the beginning. This game throws you into one horror after another. Werewolves, dolls that move on their own, grotesque monsters hiding in the dark, and the House Beneviento. Let's just say, you won't forget what happens there. The game balances pure survival horror with heart-pounding action, giving you moments of power before dragging you right back into terror. Resident Evil Village isn't just a horror game, it's an experience. A game that keeps you on edge from start to finish, and one that every horror fan must play before they die. So, are you brave enough? These 10 horror masterpieces define what it means to experience true fear. They don't just scare you, they stay with you. Which one haunts you the most? Did we miss a horror classic? Let us know in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe if you're not too scared.